Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Happy April 1st. It's time for Puck with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X as well as over here on YouTube. I hope everyone's having a great start to their Tuesday as well to April. Spring is finally here and it's not feeling like it in YYC as I look outside and see all the snow, but hopefully where you are, and let me know where you're at and what that weather is going to be like today. Next week, it's looking like we're getting some great plus temperatures here in the YYC area. So definitely excited for that. As we wind down the regular season here in the NHL, the regular season will end on April 17th. So many of these games so highly impactful for these teams. Biggest question marks around wildcard races, especially in the West, is will the St. Louis Blues finally take a loss so that the Calgary Flames and Vancouver Canucks have a chance of holding their destiny in their own hands by getting some wins here, fighting for that last wild card spot? But with how the St. Louis Blues have been playing, I tell you, it's a hard one to bet against this team. We'll look at their matchup today versus the Detroit Red Wings. And then we still have Edmonton without Connor McDavid. Leon Draisaitl back in the lineup for them, though, was able to get that OT winner versus Calgary in their last game out. We have the Panthers in Montreal going back at it after Montreal just handed the Florida Panthers another loss. But now the Florida Panthers with Toronto on a deck tomorrow. So lots of storylines behind what we're looking at in these games. Lots of teams playing for huge things for the playoffs in their matchup. So let's jump into it. Last night, we didn't see Michkov be able to get those goals. It was disappointing to see, but if you did take the 2+ points, he was able to get assists last night. So the Flyers winning that one 2-1. We saw the Minnesota Wild lose again to the Devils, but at least we got the under 5.5 in that matchup. The Devils winning that one 3-2. The first period staying under 1.5. Calgary with an insane comeback win. Calgary with that insane comeback win scored 2 goals within 32 seconds, 32 or 37 seconds. On Colorado, on Scott Wedgwood. We went against Scott Wedgwood, expecting Calgary to be able to get that win. I thought things were dead in the water if you guys joined me on Sports Rage when Calgary was down 2-0, but they were able to win it in OT 3-2. And then the Seattle Kraken took another loss with the Dallas Stars winning 2 games in a row versus Seattle and covering us that puck line as well. They covered the puck line in the first period as well as the full game. So great games out there on the ice yesterday. And that leads us into today's matchup. Good morning, Kevin. Yeah, that comeback by them was fantastic. We look at the comeback out of Calgary and you look at these games as of late and the amount of games that they've had to make those comebacks in, and it has been crazy out there. Let's jump into the Nashville Predators. They're taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets today. So the Nashville Predators are a plus 160 underdog versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are rolling in almost as a $2 favorite. Lines are moving. More money coming in here on Columbus. They're a minus 194 favorite. The total is sitting at 5.5. Minus 130 to the over. Now, if you're looking at this total, you've got to wonder how many goals Nashville will be able to help to push this one to the over, because Nashville has had those struggles. Now, Saros is expected, as they did go to Inuin last night in a net. Saros hasn't faced Columbus this season. And last season when he did, he allowed 4 goals on 35 shots on net. We know Columbus has really been stepping up offensively, especially at home. This team can score at will at home, it feels like, and they've scored 13 goals in their last 3 games. So they've been bringing it offensively, but they have been giving up those goals as well. They've allowed in their last 13 games, 3.35 goals per game. So we're seeing a team that needs to score these goals to get the win. We know the Preds have been that team that started off really hot in that first period, but you got to wonder with how defensively they locked down in that last game. versus the Flyers last night in that 2-1 loss. If their defense is going to come out as strong, well, I think their defense could come out to start as strong, but I don't see it being able to keep up for the full 60 minutes of this game. And I do think we'll see Columbus get those goals on the board. Remember, Columbus is sitting fifth in the Metro, 72 points in 75 games. They're still battling it out, trying to get one of the last wildcard spots in the East. I'm looking for them to come out strong out of the gate, be able to put those goals up on the board. Now, the last time these teams matched up, we did see the Predators win in October. It was a 4-3 win. Nashville's also had Columbus's number. So this is a risky one. Betting the Columbus Blue Jackets, even though I think they're the better team, because of the price we have to lay. I can't lay the puck line here with Columbus, with the Predators going 7-2-1 in the last 10, winning the last matchup in October 4-3. I would look here just at the over. I do think the Predators, with their urgency to come out strong in the first, they're sitting 7th in the Central. We know they're not going anywhere for the playoffs, but they do love to play that kind of role where they're still getting those goals. And Steven Stamkos actually has been strong on the road versus Columbus, scoring a goal in the last 3 road games versus them. So I'm looking for the playmakers to come out here. I do think we get that hot start out of both of these teams. We know Elvis's numbers aren't that great. Like I said, Columbus hasn't been able to keep much out of the back of their net. They've been winning by putting up the goals themselves as well as allowing them. So I'm going to take the first period over 1.5 goals at -128. I'll take the full game over 5.5. The problem with the over 5.5, and that's where I don't like the over 5.5 in the first, it's actually dropped a little bit. It was -135 earlier, -130 to the over 5.5. If you can see that number tick a little bit down, I do think the Preds will put up their share of the goals as well. You're going to play the team total. Yeah, you can look at Columbus's team total, and why I got scared off the team total is it's at that 3.5, and then how the Predators have played with them. Now, if you want to look at the Predators to be able to put up 3 goals, the over 2.5 is their number, but I do think we just get over the 5.5, and I'll be happy with that one. Good morning, Mo, to you too. Let's look at the Buffalo Sabres versus the Ottawa Senators. This is going to be a good matchup here. The Buffalo Sabres coming in at +155 on that money line, -188 for the Ottawa Senators. Total sitting at that 6.5. It is juiced to the under, and that's the way I'm going to go. The under 6.5 at -122. I'm looking at Allmark and what he's been able to do. He's won 6 of his past 8 starts, and in those 8 starts, he's got a 910 save percentage. So Allmark has been really strong between the pipes. Now, on the other side here for Buffalo, we don't know if it's James Reimer or Lankican. Either way, I do think Ottawa should be able to get some goals on the board. But I don't want to play the total, because if we see Ottawa get up by a couple goals, they're going to play that lockdown defense. We know this team is sitting 4th in the Atlantic right now. They have so much to play for. They're sitting in that first wild card spot. They don't want to lose it, right? In the East, they've got 84 points in 73 games. Montreal's just behind them with 77 points in 73 games. So, yeah, there is a long way. For them to lose that first wildcard spot, they would have to take the losses, and Montreal would have to get all the wins, and then we could see them lose that first. But I don't think they'll take this game lightly here versus a Buffalo Sabres team who is off the win versus the Washington Capitals. This team looking to play spoiler right now. This is their last game out there on the road. They beat the Capitals 8-5 on a Sunday. They're 8th in the Atlantic, 6-3 over this last 9 games. So they are looking to come out here and finish the season off strong, playing with pride. The last time they did play the Ottawa Senators, we saw that 3-2 game. I'm just going to look here. I do think Buffalo, I know they have the playmakers. Jack Quinn has been strong as of late. He's got a goal in the last 3 games here for the Sabres. You guys know I love Tage Thompson, but I'm going to look for Allmark to stand on his head. I'm going to take the under 2.5 goals here for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, for this to hit, Allmark absolutely needs that support. Allmark, the last game he faced the Sabres, he was with the Senators. This was his only game with the Senators versus the Sabres. His prior ones, of course, were with his former team in the Boston Bruins, but he allowed 4 goals on 34 shots on net. So if we're seeing the defense here of the Senators allow those shots to come raining in on Allmark tonight, we could see Buffalo go over that total. I'm just hoping they give him the support, knowing that We look at him in his career, though, so that it's accounting for that last game when he wasn't getting the support with the Senators, and then his games with Boston versus the Sabres, and he's gone 4-2 in 6 games with an average of 2.36 goals against average and a 929 save percentage. So he has been solid versus him in his career. It just doesn't look good in that last game when he came out for the Senators in the only one versus the Sabres this season. So we do have the Sabres off a loss to overtime loss versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, 1-0 in overtime. That was crazy. Sidney Crosby able to get us a goal in overtime. Now, when we're looking at a look-ahead situation, because I know 8th in the Atlantic, but I do think the Senators can't look ahead. They have the Lightning on deck on Thursday, and then you look at how hard that is. They've got the Lightning and then the Panthers on Saturday, and then they've got a back-to-back situation with the Columbus Blue Jackets on Sunday. So Ottawa needs to get this win tonight. We also have the last game on the road here, like I was saying, for the Sabres. They have the Lightning on Saturday at home and the Bruins on Sunday. So that is their schedule there. Again, I will take the Sabres team total under 2.5 goals. Long story short, right? Like to get there. Good morning, Rob. Brady Tkachuk out too. Yeah, Brady Tkachuk out of this lineup. It's going to be a battle out here. Ottawa needs to lock down on the defensive side. Rob, you're liking the under too. Buffalo has scored 8-4-3-3-5 in their last 5. They are scoring. Yeah, they absolutely are. This team is coming out, flying out there on the ice, but I'm counting on Allmark to really have a solid one. So, Paul, it's okay. I respect your opinion on what you're liking here. It's really hard to go against the Buffalo Sabres with what they have been doing. Like I said, they won 6 of their last 9 games. This team has been firing on goal at will. They just came out and put 8 on the Capitals. So if they can put 8 on the Capitals, you know they can put 8 on the Senators, but I'm just not seeing it happening again tonight. So I wish you the best with your bets. Let's look at the Washington Capitals versus the Boston Bruins, talking about those Capitals. We got the Bruins on free fall right now. They've lost their last 8. They lost that last game on the road to the Red Wings on Saturday, 2-1. So defensively, pretty solid showing. Now Swayman, I just don't trust Swayman. Okay, so that's what it comes down to. Do I trust Swayman in between the pipes for Boston? Not with how Boston has been playing defensively as of late. We've got Charlie Lindgren in here for the Washington Capitals in 5 games versus Boston. Really interesting to see. So in 5 games versus Boston, Charlie Lindgren has been able to get 2 shutouts. Or sorry, just the 1 shutout. No, 2 shutouts, 1 shutout this season. That's what it is. He's had 2 shutouts versus Boston and 1 shutout this season. So looking at him tonight, 5 games versus Boston, 2 have been shutouts. He's had 3 or 2 goals in those other 2-3 meetings. So 2 and 2, and then 3 in the other. So what are we going to get out of him? He's alternated. It's like he allowed 2, had a shutout, allowed 3, had a shutout, allowed 2, and then, so this is like the perfect rhythm for the shutout. Can we see the shutout here for the Washington Capitals versus the Boston Bruins? Well, you look at the Bruins, and they've lost their last 8. This is their first game home off a 5-game road trip that just went terribly. You either see teams come out off of this road trip that went terribly, being able to get back on home ice, get that confidence under them. I'm just not seeing Boston this late in the season being able to rally and pull off a win versus the Capitals with Ovi out there looking to break records. Also with a team that's really gelling together as a team. They did just pick up from Boston College, Ryan Leonard. Now, Ryan Leonard coming in here. The team was out at the college bars last night, you guys. So I don't know if you've seen it. It's been going all over X this morning. Ovechkin out at the Boston College bars. The bar scene last night with a bunch of other teammates there for the Washington Capitals, getting to know his new teammate, Riley Leonard. And I tell you, hockey is just such a great sport for this. Those older guys welcoming in the new talent. So Riley Leonard, because his season is done with Boston College, has been brought up. He was the top prospect here for the Washington Capitals. So it's a good day for him. He has signed the 3-year entry level contract, and his average annual value will be $950,000. So he was the 8th overall pick in the 2023 NHL draft. So in the in college hockey, so the NCAA hockey, he had 30 goals, 19 assists in 37 games. So 49 points. Riley Leonard, you can't take for a point tonight. It's going to be great to see. He's going to get out on the ice. The books have props for him. I look at Ovechkin. I look at him for his goals tonight. If Ovechkin sets up Riley Leonard for a goal, somehow they get out on that ice together, and you see that magical moment where this young rookie coming out onto the team in his first chance with OV looking to set those records gets a goal. It's going to be pretty cool as well. So Riley Leonard at plus 500. It's going to be hard for him here to get the goal. Especially Swayman is a good enough goaltender, right? Like I give Swayman a hard time. I don't trust him though, but Riley Leonard, we'll see what he has to, sorry, I want to call him Riley. It's Ryan Leonard. Riley Leonard just flows off the tongue so much nicer. Ryan Leonard out here, the new pickup here for the Washington Capitals. So it's going to be great to see this young talent out on the ice. He's plus 500 for a goal tonight. If you can get points on him on your books, look for the point. That's where I would like to see it. FanDuel's not offering that. I can't wait to see him do that rookie lap when he comes out tonight. That's going to be such a cool moment. And because he was with Boston College, you got to think it's going to be crazy there to see his Boston College teammates, his friends, his family out there, and he gets to hit that ice with Ovechkin. So pretty special moment for a young player out there. And I'm looking for him to have success. Now looking at the Washington Capitals and where we're going to bet this. So let's, I digress. I could squirrel for hours. You guys know that. I do think Boston struggles to score. Looking at Charlie Lindgren, looking at what he's been able to do versus the Boston Bruins, Boston has a team total 2.5. It's minus 136. This is also a terrible scheduling spot for them. First game home off a road trip, but they're also headed back out to Montreal on Thursday. So they don't even have a home stance here. They're coming home. They played Saturday, probably got home Saturday, late night, Sunday morning, and then they've practiced yesterday out there on the ice, practiced this morning, and then they're headed back out on the road to face Montreal. So not a good scheduling spot. I'll look at Boston's team total under 2.5 goals. The books have juiced it, though, at minus 136. I think the Capitals on the puck line is a great bet as well. I'll take the puck line bet, laying 1.5 on that puck line at plus 116. I expect a 5-2 win here for the Washington Capitals. Now, Ovi, you want to bet Ovi? I know I want to bet Ovi as well. His anytime goal tonight coming in at minus 105. It's not as bad as we had to lay in that last game at minus 120 pregame. Now, the odds didn't get too great going into the third period for Ovi. The book's catching up on that. They're listening, and they're not moving that to that plus like 650 value that we were able to get late in games a couple of weeks ago. So looking at Ovi for the 2+ goals, you're going to get that at plus 650. Can we get a goal early out of Ovi and then the empty netter out of Ovi? We know Boston will pull goaltending, even though they won't have a leg to stand on in the end of this game, in my opinion. So I still think we could get the 2 goals out of Ovi when we look at him for his goals versus Swayman. And this is where I'm really going with this one and how I don't trust Swayman, especially against Ovi. Ovi has 11 goals in 13 games versus Swayman. I do think he can step up in this one. So the anytime goal coming in at minus 105, the 2+ goals at plus 650. Safer way to bet it would just be to look at the goal or the 2+ points instead of the 2+ goals. Now the 2+ points is still going to get you plus money. It's not going to get you anywhere near plus 650 though. So definitely another way to go. Yeah, Ovi minus 1.5, Washington minus 1.5 and Ovi the anytime goal. It is a great way to go. And I actually wonder if you can, will they let us parlay Ovi for the goal and the Capitals laying the 1.5 on the puck line? Because that's something I haven't ever done, the puck line bet with an anytime goal scorer. You know, you've always looked at it with the money line, but if you do the puck line with the anytime goal, the books are giving it to us. It's coming in at plus 208. So the Capitals to win and cover the puck line and Ovi for the anytime goal parlay together at plus 208. Now, if you just do the Capitals on the money line and Ovi for the goal, it brings it down to plus 137. So still plus money for Ovi to get a goal and the Capitals to win. You don't have to worry about that puck line. I just can't see Boston really fighting in this battle. I don't see it. So we know Ovi's trying to break records here. Let's go for a big night. The Capitals have lost the last 3 too, so they're looking to come out nice and hungry in this one and get off that losing streak. They have to go into the playoffs strong, you guys. First in the Metro, 103 points in 73 games. Okay. They didn't make him actually pay the bill last night. Ovi was buying all those drinks. So, yeah, Timothy, it was pretty cool to see Ovi partying with all the Boston College kids. It was because of Ryan Leonard. He told Ryan Leonard to pick the spot. He wants to get to know his teammates, which is really cool. The Florida Panthers taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Now, if you watch the end of this game, Nico Mikola. That's how you say it, man. I tell you, some of these names just don't flow off the tongue very nicely. So Mikola was fined $5,000 for that terrible shot down the ice that basically could have taken off someone's head if they weren't looking. It was right as the buzzer went. That game was over, and Montreal was covering the puck line. There was no reason, like laying the 1.5. There was no reason for Mikola to fire that one down the ice the way he did. So the league has fined him $5,000. It broke out a huge fight between these two teams. The refs quickly broke it up, but now they're playing again here today. I expect that emotion to come into this game, but both of these teams playing for a lot. We know Florida is sitting third in the Atlantic, 91 points, 73 games. They have the Leafs on deck tomorrow. This is going to be a hard one. They are saving Bobrovsky for tomorrow's matchup versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. If they were just looking to pick up the points tonight, I would have started Bobrovsky tonight, but Montreal has had their way with Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers. So they will be starting in this one, Vanacek. Now, Vanacek versus the Montreal Canadiens, pretty solid, 3-1 in 4 games with a 2.76 goals against average. Save percentage isn't great, though, 894. I do think Montreal is still live to get the win, especially now here at home with the scheduling spot for Florida. They need the points, though. So this is going to be an absolute war out there on the ice. Montreal is fighting to hold on to wild card spot 2 right now, sitting in that last wild card spot in the East. They're 5th in the Atlantic, 77 points in 73 games. So look for both of these teams to come out really strong. Now, looking at that last game, and because I think this is going to be scrappy, that's why I lean on Montreal to get the win. The last game versus each other, where Montreal got that 4-2 road win on Sunday, we saw Montreal be able to convert their power play opportunities. Florida wasn't able to. Florida went 0-2 on the power play. We saw Montreal convert 2 of their 3 power play opportunities. If this game is scrappy right from the start, Montreal has proven that they can do it. And we know Kyle Caulfield isn't not known for double negative, right? Is known for getting those shorties. So I think Kyle Caulfield and Nick Suzuki, Lane Hudson, the playmakers here for Montreal, Patrick Laine, they have the ability to come out and get another win versus the Florida Panthers, especially as we get late into this game. Maybe Florida starts off with the hot hand here, and then we're able to get a better price for the Montreal Canadiens to battle their way back and have their way with Florida again. So I'm going to go with Montreal, you guys. I'm going to look at their team total over 2.5 goals. I just think Vanacek will allow 3 goals. If anything, that would be the bet that I like better than Montreal getting the win, because then we could see a 3-4 win for the Florida Panthers in OT. Like, they don't want to go to overtime, but we very much could see it here. Montreal fighting for that wild card spot. You also look at Sam Montague, what he's been able to do versus the Florida Panthers. He allowed 3 goals on 48 shots over the last 2 games. So last 2 games versus Florida, Florida's put 48 shots on him. He's only allowed 3 of those goals to come in. So Sam Montague has been solid versus the Florida Panthers. He stopped 4 of 26 shots on his goal on Sunday. So it's been crazy numbers for him. I just don't trust the Florida Panthers here. In the last game, we did see both teams hit the scoreboard in the first period. So if you're looking for both teams to score in the first period, we know how hot these teams can come out. I just don't know if I'm willing to take it. All I want to take is Montreal over 2.5 goals and Montreal for a sprinkle on that money line. Yeah, I agree, Timothy. So if you really do believe that, and I think I do believe that, I know Florida needs to pick up the points, but Montreal just keeps beating this team. And then you look at them here, and what means more? They need the points, though. And that's the problem. They need to pick up the points. They can't look ahead to Toronto, because if they look ahead to Toronto, lose and get 0 points tonight, then there's another 2 points behind Toronto. So then tomorrow's game, then it's a kind of a do or die game, right? Like they're allowing Toronto to be able to take the Atlantic. So I'm looking for Florida to still give it their best effort, but it's a game that's going to be really hard. That alt puck line I want to look at here for the Montreal Canadiens, because what I want to do, you guys, it's plus 155 on the money line. If Montreal is winning this, I think they're covering that alt puck line again. So if you look at the alt puck line for the Montreal Canadiens laying 1.5, it's plus 340. So is that worth it over a plus 155 underdog price? It is not if you think this one goes to overtime, and I very well could see this one going to OT. So let's stay off the alt puck line. The overtime bet here is coming in at plus 330 between these teams. And realistically, I think that's where we go. The overtime bet at plus 330. And I got to get that bet in Montreal, Florida, as soon as we're done here, because I've talked myself into it, and I think it's going to come to fruition today. So scrappy game out here between both of these teams. I am seeing Vanacek. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, we'll check who's in for the Vegas Golden Knights. I was seeing Aiden Hill in for Vegas, and I'll just check that and see what I'm getting. Yeah, I'm seeing Aiden Hill still in for Vegas tonight. And I'm not sure if Barbashev will be in the lineup or not. So let me just see what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing most people are in. So let's turn to the next game here. We talked the Washington Capitals. We talked the Florida Panthers. We're going to move on to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, the Tampa Bay Lightning take on the New York Islanders again. The Tampa Bay Lightning are coming in as a minus 172 favorite, plus 142 here for the Isles. Now, this has a total of 6.5, minus 142 to the under, plus 116 to the over. We know what happened in that last game, right? We did see the Tampa Bay Lightning get the win, but the Isles make a game of it at late in that game. I don't think they allow the same mistakes out there at Tampa. Tampa got up to a hot start. They kind of laid off, and the Isles were able to get, 3 goals in the third period? It was just not what Tampa needs to play like. Their kill is strong. Their kill is 82%. They need to come out. They need to get their goals locked down and not allow the Isles to get back into this game. First road game of 3 out here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're at the Senators on Thursday and the Sabres on Saturday. And then we're seeing the New York Islanders rolling in here, losing their last 5. They lost that last game to the Carolina Hurricanes 6-4. So the last time these teams played was Saturday. We saw then the Isles play on Sunday versus Carolina, but Tampa hasn't played anyone since. So Tampa has gone out on the road. This is their first game here facing an Islanders team. Andrei Vasilevskiy expected to get the start. Andrei Vasilevskiy has been so hot. He's got a 2.2 goals against average and a 920 save percentage, second best in the league. So he has been rolling. Now we look at Sorokin here. He's given up 147 goals and saved 1,382 goals this season. It's crazy when you start looking at the full season saves that they have been able to make. So he's got a 2.80 goals against average and a 904 save percentage, 25th in the league for goaltenders here. The power play is non-existent for the Isles. We've got a non-existent kill. This team on a losing streak sits 6th in the Metro, still not officially eliminated by for the playoff contention, but I just don't see them being able to get the goals today. I'm going to take the Islanders team total under 2.5 goals. That's coming in at plus 102. I also think you can look at Tampa to win this in reg. They won their last 6 games as a favorite. They've won their last 5 first periods as a favorite as well. We had Tampa on the puck line in the last game. I do think it comes to play today. I think they get off to that hot start. Second in the Atlantic, that battle in the Atlantic, I tell you, is just insane between the Leafs, the Lightning, and the Panthers. So second in the Atlantic, 91 points, 73 games. They did win this matchup, like I said, just on Saturday, 5-2. Or 5-3, sorry. I think they keep the Isles under 2.5 goals. Yeah. And then where am I going to parlay anything with the player points? I'm going to look at Jake Gunn. So Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, all 3 of those guys, I would parlay. You're getting plus money, great plus money there for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, Braden Point for the anytime point. And the Lightning and Reg, you guys took the words right out of my mouth. Good morning to you. Let's move on to the next game. You guys, I have to be off at the top of the hour, so we need to fly through the rest of this. No more squirreling, okay? The Detroit Red Wings taking on the St. Louis Blues. Like I said, the Blues winning their last 9, looking for their 10th win in a row. They were able to beat Colorado 2-1, 9-1 in their last 10 games. I'm looking for this team to continue to roll hot. Jordan Binnington has just been an absolute stud between the pipes. He's allowed only 132 goals on the season, 1,195 saves. Since coming back from the All-Star break, this is where you look at the Four Nations. This is where you look at him, and he's just been incredible. He's gone 12-2-1 since February 2nd. With a 2.26 goals against average, a 912 save percentage. He's the second most wins in the NHL since February 2nd. So he's only behind Andre Vasilevsky. So Jordan Binnington, a stud between the pipes. I cannot deny him here. But this is going to be a hard matchup with the Detroit Red Wings. Looking at the odds in this one, the Red Wings are plus 146. Underdog, we've got -8 for the Blues, total of 5.5. I think the Blues win. I can't bet them on the money line. I won't take them on the puck line. Alex Leon, you look at the kill here for the Red Wings. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the power play has been clicking at such a hot rate for the Blues since the break, clicking at 27.7%. Overall in the season, it's 21.4. The kill here of the Red Wings is 68.5, worst in the league. If the Red Wings get scrappy, allow the Blues on the power play, the Blues win this 4-1. Okay, if they don't get scrappy, they play smart hockey. Jordan Binnington has an off night. We're going to overtime with how hot this team has been playing, with how much is still on the line for the Red Wings because they are not mathematically eliminated, sitting 6th in the Atlantic, 74 points in 73 games. And with how much hype is behind the Blues and how I think everyone's going to be wanting to bet the Blues tonight, I just can't take the side either. So I can't step in front of them, but can't take the side. Give me the overtime bet. I think the Red Wings push them in this. We know the talent on this Red Wings team. They're off the win. It wasn't a great win versus the Bruins on Saturday, but a win still. They were able to go 2-1. Also, that power play clicks here for the Red Wings. Their power play is 28.8%. And yes, the kill isn't as bad as it is for the Red Wings for the Blues, but it's 73%. So in their last 10 games, though, over this winning stretch, they've only given up 1.7 goals on average per game. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be absolute playoff style hockey. One thing to note, the Blues are wearing their vintage 90s sweaters. Tonight, their jerseys, so their 90s ones, it's going to be pretty cool to see. So make sure you check in to this game. We do see the Blues with the Pittsburgh Penguins on deck on Thursday, the Avs again on a Saturday, and looking at the Red Wings, they're a one-off road game here versus the Canes at home on Friday, the Panthers on Sunday. So give me overtime plus 350 if you like the Blues or Detroit for any player props. I would look at the power play player props, the power play points tonight, because that's where I think it's going to come. Now, they did pick up their former first-round pick, Jimmy Sugarud, I think you say his name, for the entry-level contract. He was out there skating with the third line in warm-up, so we'll see what he's able to do. I'm not sure if he'll get the start or not on that third line. If the Blues are up, that's where I'd expect them. I struggle to see them putting up a young kid here that they're just bringing up since his college has finished too for the season in a game that's so meaningful when this team is fighting for playoffs. But you never know. He might have a nice advantage. I don't know much about this kid. So we'll see what he is able to do out there on the ice as well. But if you're looking at those power play points for the Red Wings, Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin, Robert Thomas and Dylan Holloway and Jake Neighbors for the Blues. Let's move on. We've got 4 games to go over in the next 25 minutes. You guys, we got to fly. The Calgary Flames versus the Utah Hockey Club. You're going to do Detroit on the money line to break that streak for the Red Wings. Okay, good morning, Vinny. Let's make some freaking money. The Calgary Flames versus the Utah Hockey Club. Dustin Wolf versus Vermelka should be your goaltending matchup. Utah has dominated. I want to say the two words at once. Dominated Calgary this season, winning in January 5-3, winning in October 5-1. They've had their number. Clayton Keller has come out nice and strong versus the Calgary Flames. Now Calgary's on the second night of a back-to-back. This team never says die in these games. They know how much they're fighting for. They're 5 games back from the St. Louis Blues, and if the Blues continue to win, Vancouver and Calgary have no chance of making the playoffs. So best thing as a Calgary fan would be the Blues to take a loss tonight in not even OT. Give me the loss in regulation, but I do think it goes to overtime. It's too much to ask that this Blues team takes a loss in reg, and Calgary and Vancouver have a fighting chance. But I do think Calgary still thinks that they have a fighting chance, like all of us. They do have that fighting chance out there. So I think it's going to be a hard matchup here, though, in the second night of back-to-back versus a team that really has dominated against them. We're seeing Utah off the win versus Chicago, 5-2 on the road. And now we are seeing one thing. First game home off a 3-game road trip here for Utah. They have the Kings on Thursday, the Jets on Saturday. Really hard games ahead of them. They've dominated Calgary before, and I won't be shocked if Calgary pushes this one to overtime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the overtime bet here again. Plus 340, so much to play for. Utah still playoff hopes alive. Both of these teams, they need miracles to be able to get into the playoffs, but they're playing that style of hockey. Now, Nazem Kadri has been just racking up the shots on goal. He's got 252 shots on goal this season. So Nazem Kadri, if you don't think he's going to get past Vermelka with the goal, look at him for his shots on goal tonight. I do think he comes out nice and strong. And when we look at these teams and their overtime possibilities, Calgary's last 2 games have gone to overtime. We had an overtime in the game prior to their last win here for Utah versus the Florida Panthers. So I do think overtime really is in play between these two teams as both teams try to make a push to keep their playoff hopes alive. We then have the San Jose Sharks, you guys, taking on the Anaheim Ducks. The San Jose Sharks are a plus 150 favorite, minus 182 here for the Ducks, total of 6.5. I know the Ducks are playing better hockey, but who the heck wants to take the Ducks on the puck line? I don't. They're sitting 18, 17, and 2 at home, 25 and 12 on that puck line. But a lot of those times they've been the dog, not the favorite, you guys. We're looking at a Sharks team that's 22 and 14 on the road on that puck line, 8, 21 and 7 straight up on the road. Not pretty numbers. It feels like this team is in a free fall as well, even though they haven't lost like 8 in a row like the Bruins. They've lost their last 2. That last loss to the Kings, it was ugly to say the least. 8-1 loss to the LA Kings on Sunday. Now they have a ton of battles in the Pacific coming up. They got the Oilers on Thursday, the Kraken on Saturday. The list goes on. They face the Flames, face the Oilers again. So 8th in the Pacific. This team is not making the playoffs. We know they're eliminated, but not much hope here for the Ducks to be able to do so. Not mathematically eliminated as of yet. They're off the loss to the Leafs 3-2 after beating the Rangers 5-4 in OT and the Bruins 6-2. They're on the road versus Calgary Thursday, Vancouver on Saturday. Where am I going to go? Long story short, the home team's gone 5-2 in the last 7 meetings. The Sharks have struggled versus the Ducks. 0-4 in the last 4 meetings, 3-14 in the last 17 meetings. Overall, that 0-4 is in Anaheim. Just give me player props. Look at Celebrini, look at Toffoli. Toffoli and Celebrini, come on. These guys have to get something freaking done off of that embarrassing loss in the last one. Parlaying them together, that's coming in at plus 116. Celebrini has 54 points, so 0.55 is loading for Celebrini. 17 goals and 37 assists. You could look at him for 2+ points tonight at plus 320 as well. We know Celebrini looking to win the Calder this year. And then Toffoli looking for that 50-point mark on the season. He's at 48. 2+ points for Toffoli coming in at plus 330. You look at their schedule. Toffoli's best chance of getting 2 or more points in a game for the rest of the season is tonight versus the Anaheim Ducks. And this price in the Ducks is ridiculous. They don't deserve to be that big of a favorite. I know the Sharks aren't playing great. They don't deserve to be this big of an underdog. So I'll take Toffoli for 2+ points for coffee money, Celebrini for 2+ points for coffee money, taking them for 1 point for a half a unit as well at plus 116. And on the other side for the Ducks, I want to look at Troy Terry. He's got goal number 20 still loading. Freaking get it already, you guys. So Troy Terry for the goal tonight. Leo Carlson, I'm really loving what we're seeing out of him. 20 goals, 20 assists on the season for a total of 40 points. McTavish has been playing great as well. 45 points, 20 goals, 25 assists. And then Trevor Zegras. So do what you want with this game. It's not impactful, really. The Ducks feel like they could make the playoffs, but they're not going to. These two late games are playoff style hockey, you guys, and this is where our huge focus needs to come on the night. You got to stay up late if you want to watch the Edmonton Oilers versus the Vegas Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets versus the LA Kings. The puck will drop at 10 p.m. Eastern between Edmonton and Vegas, 10:30 Eastern between the Jets and the Kings. Let's jump into the first one here with the Edmonton Oilers versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas is a minus 160 favorite at home versus Edmonton. Edmonton still without Connor McDavid. Thomas Hertl on the lineup for Vegas. When we look at this total, 6.5, there's no way I'm taking this to the over. The under 6.5 is juicy, though, at minus 128. I do think this is one you can ult down to under 5.5. I think this is a 3-2 win out of one of these teams, being Vegas. Now, being it that I do think it's Vegas, we've seen Vegas dominate. They've won their last 6 and covered that puck line. And yes, they have been favorites. So they beat the Predators 3-1 on the road. They're versus the Jets on Thursday. The Flames, they will be in Calgary on Saturday. Actually, maybe I'll go that game. It should be a really good one. But I do look for Vegas to dominate in a defensive battle. Could this be 2-2 going to overtime? Absolutely could. You're going to get the best out of both of these teams. Now, the downside here for Edmonton is Skinner still out with injury. Calvin Pickard will be in net for them tonight. Vegas, I hope, will play that lockdown hockey. Edmonton has to without Connor McDavid. And we know Leon Draisaitl was able to come out, get the goal-winning game scoring overtime goal for the game versus Calgary, and he has been strong. But without Connor McDavid versus this defense of Vegas, I just don't see them being able to get the win. Vegas over the last 10 games has only given up 20 goals. So that's an average of 2 goals per game. Edmonton's team total is 2.5. I think they struggle to reach that 2.5 or to reach 2. They could see 2, but I think it's a struggle to get those 2. Like I said, we could see the 2-2 going to overtime. So, and then I think Vegas still wins it in OT. So give me Edmonton's team total under 2.5. That's coming in at plus 112. The under 6.5 for the full game, like I said, minus 128. For the last 5 head-to-head games have seen 6 or less goals, and then 3 of the last 10 games have gone over the pregame total. So the 6.5 is the right number to take to the under. But again, I think you can ult it to 5.5. Get a little greedy out there. We're going to get greedy with these games for sprinkles, you guys. So let me know what you're liking in this one. This is a huge battle out there on the ice in the Pacific. Vegas sitting first in the Pacific and Edmonton sitting third. Now, Edmonton will be at the Sharks on Thursday, the Kings on Saturday, the Ducks on Monday. And then we're seeing the Jets on Thursday for Vegas, and the Flames, they'll be there on Saturday. So it's going to be a great game. Yeah, Dylan Cousins versus his former team. Absolutely in that matchup versus the Buffalo Sabres. So Dylan Cousins coming out here for the Ottawa Senators. He was fire when he first came out for them. So I do think we didn't see him score in the last game, I don't think. So Dylan Cousins for the Ottawa Senators, definitely someone you want to look at, especially with Brady Tkachuk out of the lineup. So nice call on Dylan Cousins there. Yeah, Dallas in reg. It was a great bet. Hopefully you're able to get them on the puck line in the first and last period as well, or full game. Blues first goal, Holloway. You know I love some Dylan Holloway groovy caps. I can totally get behind him for the first goal of this game. Let's move on to the last game, you guys. Like I said, I have to be off right at 11. So let's talk the Winnipeg Jets versus the LA Kings, and we'll try to do the recap as fast as possible. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to those player points. I'll try to talk them within the games. So let's talk the Winnipeg Jets versus the LA Kings. Another playoff style hockey game here. We're looking at the lines right now, 5.5 juice to the under at minus 144. We're going to ult it. We're looking at the LA Kings minus 120 plus 100 for the Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuck needs to play his best between the pipes because he's had some ugly games versus the LA Kings, and I'm looking for him to be able to do so. Darcy Kemper has elite games versus the Winnipeg Jets. He's gone 7-2 in 11 games with a 2.78 goals against average and a 918 save percentage. I'm looking for this goaltending battle to happen. We know Connor Hellebuck's better than the numbers that he has had versus the LA Kings. Looking at him on the season, he's just been absolutely stellar. I do think this is a 2-1 win for one of these teams. Give me the under 4.5 coming in at plus 200 between these two teams. I know it's scary, you guys, but this has to be playoff style hockey. The power play, everything about the Jets offensively is absolutely fire. Their defense is great too. And we can say the same thing about the LA Kings, especially on their home ice. Now they're off that 8-1 win versus the Sharks. They're not going to put 8 goals on Connor Hellebuck. I just can't see it. We are seeing the Winnipeg Jets winning their last 3. They beat Vancouver on Sunday at home 3-1. The last time these teams matched up, it was that 2-1 win for the LA Kings in January. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm going to jump on the Kings at plus 100 going into this game. Or sorry, the Jets. The Jets at plus 100 going into this game. That was a Freudian slip that hopefully the Kings do not win it now. But I do think the Jets have every ability to get the win. I'm going to look, though, for half a unit at plus 100, but I'll come in on the other half a unit because I wouldn't be shocked if the Kings were the team to go out first. Kempe has scored in each of the last 2 games versus the Jets. So if you're looking for that score, I'm not going to take any props in this one or that Edmonton game because I do think it's that low-scoring defensive battle. The Kings team total, another way to play it as well. Under 2.5 goals for the Kings coming in at plus 106. 2-2 game going to overtime gives us the under 4.5. It doesn't give us the 4.5. The 1-1 going to overtime giving us the extra goal in OT 2-1. Gives us the under 4.5. So if you think it's going to be 2-2, don't bet the under 4.5. Just bet the overtime bet. But I think 2-1 final overtime win here for the Winnipeg Jets is where I'm going to be going at. So the LA Kings team total under 2.5 I can get behind as well. Plus 106. It's going to be a battle, you guys, an absolute battle out there on the ice. Let's fly through this recap. Yeah, if everyone could like and subscribe, I would so greatly appreciate it. It's April 1st. No April Fool's Day jokes here. I don't like April 1st. I really don't. I'm the most gullible person in the world. You tell me something, I'm going to believe you. So no April Fool's Day jokes. Okay, guys. I love Winnipeg tonight too. So glad we're on the same freaking page for that one. Let's do the recap, you guys. Again, we've got 12 minutes and then I just have to cut it. So I'll get through this as fast as possible. I promise. The Nashville Predators versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Give me the first period over 1.5 goals, minus 128. The over 5.5 for the full game. I do think it comes to play. It's minus 132. Stamkos has been strong versus Columbus on the road. I would look at him for the goal. And for Columbus, look at Shane Monahan for that anytime goal. The Buffalo Sabres versus the Ottawa Senators. You guys threw out Dylan Cousin, and you're so right. Dylan Cousin versus his former team should come out nice and strong. When they matched up once already. He was able to get a point on the board. Can't remember if it was via goal or an assist. I'm looking for Ullmark to have a really strong day. And the Buffalo Sabres, even though they've got talent like Tage Thompson, to struggle to score. I'll take the Buffalo Sabres under 2.5 goals. That's coming in at minus 104. The Ottawa Senators just have so much to play for, and I think Ullmark can have a strong game. The Washington Capitals versus the Boston Bruins. Charlie Lindgren, 2 shutouts versus the Bruins in 5 career games. It's gone on a pattern of allowing goals, shutout, allowing goals, shutout, allowing goals. This is the time for a shutout. If you think he can get it, I'm not seeing odds as of yet. Might be worth a tiny sprinkle. I think the better bet is just to look at Boston's team total under 2.5, minus 138. This team is falling right now. You guys lost their last 8. One off home game, back out on the road versus Montreal. I can't back them. I do think this is a Capitals win, 5-2, getting back in the win column. The puck line for the Washington Capitals laying a goal and a half at plus 116. Ovi for the anytime goal at -105. 2+ goals for Ovi. He scored 11 times in 13 games versus Swayman. Give me the 2+ goals at +650. And then also look for this young player coming up from Boston College to be able to get a point on the board. FanDuel only has the goal coming in at +500. I do think Riley Leonard will be able to get something done if they allow him to hit the ice. If FanDuel has the goal, they will be seeing him in the lineup. The Florida Panthers versus the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal has had Florida's number. They got the win just the other day, and I think they have the possibility of winning this again. I think Montreal over 2.5 goals at -118 is a play. I also like the overtime bet in this game, and I want to live bet Montreal if I'm getting more value. I think at +155, you got the value, but this is going to be a scrappy game. Power play opportunities will be coming for both of these teams. Montreal was the team who was able to convert on the power play in the last one. So I do think Montreal is in play, especially if they go down. This team won't stop fighting. Cole Caulfield here and Nick Suzuki, Lane Hudson, the playmakers that we're going to look at. The Tampa Bay Lightning versus the New York Islanders, you guys. The Islanders team total under 2.5, fading this team. I don't think they can get more than 2 goals on Andre Vasilevsky, who's just been elite between the pipes. Under 2.5 for the Islanders, coming in at +102. Tampa in red coming in at -110. Just to note, they have won their last 5 first periods as a favorite. We saw this matchup just the other day, and we saw the Islanders allow Tampa, 4 goals in the first period. So I do think Tampa in the first period is another play to play. Tampa in reg is -110. You could also look at the full puck line. I think they cover it. Jake Gunsel, Braden Point would be and Nikita Kucherov, your playmakers to parlay for the points for that game. The Detroit Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues, I think this is tighter than people expect. Detroit's still fighting here. They have to stay out of the box, though, because their kill is insanely bad. Their power play is solid, though, so they should be able to convert on the power play. We've seen, though, the Blues only give up 1.7 goals over their last 10. Jordan Binnington has been just fantastic between the pipes. I can't jump in front of the Blues, but I can't bet them at this price today. I'm going to take overtime at +350. I'd look at the power play points depending on who you like. You guys throw out Dylan Holloway for the first goal. Absolutely love it. The Blues have been just so incredible. Robert Thomas, Jake Neighbors as well. Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin would be your playmakers for the Red Wings. They've also picked up this young kid for the Blues, Jimmy Snuggerud. Signed his entry-level contract on Friday. So it looks like he was practicing on that third line. The Calgary Flames versus the Utah Hockey Club. Give me overtime again. So meaningful for both of these teams. Calgary coming off the second night of a back-to-back after that comeback win last night. Their last 2 games have gone to overtime, so they're going to start getting tired legs. Utah's dominated, winning the 2 meetings this season, both with 5 goals, and I do think they bring it. Clayton Keller brings it, and this is their first game home off a 3-game road trip. I think these teams kind of like trade back. Goals in this one, it could come slow or hard. I'm not sure how these goals will come, if we get abundance of them or a lack of them, but I do think overtime will hit in this game. The San Jose Sharks and the Anaheim Ducks. This is a game where I want to stay off the side. I can't back the Ducks at this price, but I can't bet the Sharks with their lackluster play in some of these games. Look for Celebrini and Toffoli to be able to get a point each, parlayed together at +116. Celebrini, though, for 2+ points is +320. He's looking to hit the 55-point mark tonight. Toffoli's 2 points off of 50. I'll take him for 2+ points tonight as well. Looking at the schedule, his best bet to get 2 or more points in a game to finish out the season is in tonight's game at +330, worth a shot. Troy Terry on the other side for the Ducks. He has goal number 20, still freaking loading. So let's get goal number 20. Leo Carlson and McTavish. Again, the late games of the night. These are your really impactful playoff games here. The Edmonton Oilers versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Give me Edmonton's team total under 2.5 goals at +112. Look for Vegas to win this in a defensive battle out there, one that has every opportunity of going into OT. The under 6.5 definitely in play in this game. All the trends for these teams stay under that opening number. I do think you can hold this one down to 5.5. I think this is a 2-2 game going into OT, giving us 5 goals at the most, and with Vegas getting that 5th goal to keep Edmonton's team total under 2.5. So the overtime bet as well. And then when we look at the Jets, again, overtime bet here, ulting the total. The total's 5.5. I can't lay minus 144. I do think this is a 2-1 overtime win here for the Winnipeg Jets. The last time these teams matched up, the Kings got the 2-1 win. This is going to be war out there on the ice defensively between these two. So give me a little bit of money here now on the Jets at plus 100. If the Kings do go up first, I'll be coming back in on the Jets at whatever price I'm getting then as well. But I do think this is a 2-1 game. So in overtime bet under 4.5, ulted to the under at plus 200. So you guys, those are the bets today. We don't have time to go over those player props, but I did mention them within the recap. So hopefully you were able to grab them there. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here with me on the daily. Yeah, the 2+ points, Mo, like I said, I'm just running out of time here. If you really want the 2+ points in any of these games, I am going to look at Toffoli and Celebrini for the 2+ points. And then you could look at Troy Terry as well for the Ducks. I think that is going to be your game that's really that higher scoring one. And then the 2+ points for either Jake Gunsel, Braden Point, or Nikita Kucherov there for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the Lightning have their way with the Islanders, and you can see those points coming in. And then Ovi. Give me Ovi for the 2+ points. So that's where I'm going to go for those 2+ points. You look at Cole Caulfield. He wasn't able to get a goal in the last game versus the Florida Panthers. Look for Cole Caulfield to come out nice and strong as well. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. My Cup of Joe will be out in about hour and a half, 2 hours. I've just got a meeting I have to jump into here. So I'll be back. Stay tuned for that Cup of Joe. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice and the hardwood and the diamonds today. You guys, the Blue Jays did not let me down. They are making me some money, either fading or betting this season. So let's look at the Jays game again today versus the Washington Nationals. We know we don't trust that bullpen. Francis only getting those 4 strikeouts yesterday, though, not able to capitalize and get us those 6. But stay tuned for that Cup of Joe. I'll do one for the diamonds and we'll do one for the hardwood. It's going to be a great day, you guys. I will see you back here on Puck It with Joe tomorrow. And until then, you guys stay hot. Let's make some freaking money. Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies.